All right, welcome to a bonus edition, Decorators Community, two regular guys, and it's just me, Aaron, today, but I have a pretty darn awesome guest right here, Jay Busselle. Jay, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, thanks for having me, Aaron. I'm well. I'm doing my thing.
I love it. I love it. So Jay, let's just dive right into this because I know that there's going to be like just a treasure trove of information here.
Yeah.
Branding. Why branding? Oh, why is this so important to you so much that you actually wrote a book about it? I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's always been on my mind in terms of when I was a marketing director. Well, let's even go back further. Owning my own business, I realized how often I was horrible at it, to be honest. And so, using me as my own first crash test dummy, I recognized that there were a lot of things that I should be doing better. But when I'm focused on running a business, and in this case, it was a promotional product advertising company that was also an apparel decoration company. So we were doing promo and apparel, and it was a family biz. And we had about 8 people, give or take, on any given day, because, um, it was, do this, do that. These shirts need to get out, deliver here. Don't forget that invoice. And this was just really when the internet was coming on strong. We had no idea what we were doing. And most of the time we were just guessing. And a lot of times we were wrong. So that's really where all of this started. Was I started becoming a student of the game, and I started doing a lot of reading and a lot of experimenting. I went to a lot of conferences, and I recognized how important the concept of branding was and how most people kept getting it wrong. Like they thought of it as, well, this is my logo, or check out my business cards, and they were kind of tying it to them, a thing, a logo, a service, or a product, rather than conceptually the entire package. And so that's really where I got my genesis. Working through other jobs, being involved in marketing, and recognizing great branding and epic marketing. When I see it, I was like, oh my gosh, this person is just lighting it on fire. I love this. And then, you kind of modify your game a little bit, right? You recognize when other people are doing wonderful work, and you're like, I'm not going to copy them, but that was really smart. How can I take that, learn from that, and apply it to myself?
Yeah. I love that whole thought of, learning from others, seeing what you see out there, being able to recognize when good branding is in front of you, and then taking that information. And again, like you said, you're not copying it. I'm not going to duplicate it, but
no.
we certainly are going to learn from it.
It doesn't apply to me if I copy somebody else's great branding. But I can learn some lessons from it, and I can see how something could fit. Whether that's for, promoting something specific like an offer, or promoting my business in general, like kind of long-term, long-tail thinking, a little bit more strategic rather than tactical. So, but always keeping my eye open, and like I said, trying to figure out ways to incorporate that and get better at it.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, so the next thing that I don't know, for whatever reason, and I think you're going to explain the reason here. Whenever I think of a taco, whenever I eat a taco, whenever anything related to taco comes up in my life, I cannot disassociate you from that. You are synonymous with tacos.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're not selling tacos, and I know
no.
but talk to where did tacos come from? How does that relate to branding, so to speak, potentially for people?
No, it totally does. So let me go back. It's a great story. So I'll try to keep it quick, but it's true. I'm a freak. Okay. I have a problem.
And
the problem is this guy right here, these little guys. And so, because we used to go to so many trade shows, it was always kind of one of my things. To every city, I try to find a great place to go get tacos. And so the word got out. A few of us would go, or we'd say, hey, we're going to be here for 4 nights. Let's go to such and such a joint and grab some tacos on Tuesday. Everybody ready? Taco Tuesday. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So that was part of the genesis of this. But then I actually, at one point, somebody else asked me on a blog, and I said, well, if you really do think about it, the taco is a good metaphor. It's a shell, and it's about relationships. So it's kind of like 2 sides of the relationship, like a taco shell. And then all of the great stuff inside, whether you're, vegan or not, whether it's soft or hard or crispy, or whether it's just a leaf of lettuce, could still be a shell if you think about it.
Yeah.
So, but all of the good stuff inside were all of your touch points, all of your marketing. So your brand was like the container holding everything. And there are a lot of things in there. There are a lot of points. And I know Aaron will talk about some of those points today, but that's how the taco thing kind of connected with branding. And then I've just continually kept pushing tacos and kept pushing it. And it got to the point where, like you said, people are like sending me things like, whether it's emails or physical things, like get things in the mail, or, a meme that they saw and they thought of me because it had to do with tacos. So it's stuck like nothing ever, like more than the mustache, more than fun hats. People know me for tacos. So I can't get rid of it now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the good news is I still really enjoy tacos. So,
so that works out good too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's obviously taking that and using it to explain. But again, it's also a way to keep top of mind. I mean, it in a way, it kind of represents your personality, right?
It does. And it's fun. And then people know me for it. My own kids tease me all the time. They're like, Dad, what is the deal with the tacos? I don't get it. And they're like, well, because they see me in the context of 1,000 other things.
Yeah.
But when I'm branding myself, or if I'm doing some form of education or training, I'll often bring it up. Or if it's in my marketing, my tweets, if it's something on Facebook, if it's something on LinkedIn, I'm going to make a lot of references there. And people can instantly associate me with that. And it cuts through the clutter. So it's that memorable anchor, that memorable tie back. I don't know why it works so well for me. It just does. Your thing should be something different.
Yes.
You can be a taco freak too. But do us both a favor, pick something else.
Yeah. Well, we all have, but we do all have our things, deep down there's something that is memorable for us. I mean, heck, you look at Terry and I, and there's a chicken wing normally associated with us somewhere.
Listen, totally is how you guys started. It's still how I think of you. I still, in my mind, see the crossed wing and microphone. I'll never forget that. I've been on the show several times. Thank you. Hopefully I'll be back. Thank you. But truth is, I mean, it's how you guys got started, and it's such a powerful visual image. So whether you're the hoodie guy, and I used to tease people a lot about this, especially when you have access to, you're not known for one thing. You don't just print one thing, right? So I realized early on in my career, trying to be a great salesman, business owner, marketer, screen printer, a sublimator, fill in the blank. I realized I would annoy me so bad when I'd call on a client that was an existing client who I already had a great relationship with. And I'd look down on their desk and I'd see this stack of new pens, right? And I'd be like, dude, what? You didn't order those from me? I felt like, my girlfriend just cheated on me.
Yeah.
So, and then I realized it's my fault. I'm doing a crappy job of reminding this buyer what I sell. I'm doing a crummy job of reminding them in terms of my own branding and marketing that I'm more than just the t-shirt guy, right? Because you tend to get pigeonholed. You tend to get stereotyped, whether you like it or not. So, in your case, Aaron, you became the mouse pad queen for a long time. Remember that?
Yep. I know, but I'm just going to
no, dude. I'm telling you. Forgive me. I don't know where that came from. Just boom, stuff like that happens with me. You'll have to.
I love it.
Have to roll with it. But no, seriously.
What did I do?
You were the sublimation king for a long time. You still are in my mind because anytime I get stuck, I ask you. But it's knowing that you're more than a process or a product. Now, there is a good flip side to that. If you wanted to be the hoodie king, that's going to be your thing. Do it. Go all in. Figure out something that separates you from everybody else, that gives you a good anchor point whereby people can immediately and quickly respond, remember, have recall, have good vibes, have good energy, a positive feeling, a warmness, a kindness, and a fondness to that. So, whatever it is, more than just tacos. Could be a hoodie.
Could be a hoodie, could be a taco, could be a chicken wing, could be whatever. So
could be a mouse pad.
But it's just got to be you.
Yeah, but it needs to be something that you really, truly click with, that's authentically passion. Because if it's not, it shows. People do know me. I do talk about it a lot. We do go hang out at places. We'll often be in Vegas or go somewhere and say, hey, let's stop by this joint. I know this guy. It's good. We've been there before. So, it's got to work. It's got to stick.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever gotten free tacos out of this whole deal?
A time or two. People have
Good.
sent me
See?
gift cards. People have treated me to tacos. Have I ever? I don't think I've ever been at a place where. Well, one time in Atlantic City, there was because I did what I. Here's how that happened. Can I tell that story? Is that
Sure. Yes,
okay?
please.
So I set up a kind of a taco rendezvous, and there were about 15 of us, and we all went. We all hung out. We had a good time, and we spent a lot of money at this place. So I told the guy I was going to come back the next day because there were 3 things on the menu that I didn't order. And when I came back, he treated me. He's like, "No, dude, that was awesome. You guys made our night, and this one's on us." And I was like, "What?" So yeah, one time free tacos.
That's awesome. I love it. Perfect. All right. Well, Jay, we keep talking about branding. We keep using the word branding. Let's get into the nuts and bolts, if you don't mind, a bit here. Kind of give us the roadmap. I know in your book there's a roadmap. It's like a recipe, really. But
yeah.
Why don't you lay that out for us, if you don't mind?
Well, no, not a problem at all. And thank you again for this huge opportunity. I love, talking about this. But one of the things I recognized is if we had a formula, and you used a perfect word for it, a recipe or a roadmap. Those are synonyms in my mind, but those are perfect words for this. Is if as a small business owner, I had a recipe, I had this roadmap of things to do and things to not do that I could kind of ask myself and continually work on. By the way, this isn't like, check the box and you're done. This is an evolving process. Your business evolves, who you are evolves, the decorating techniques you might be engaged in, that changes. And then crazy things like pandemics pop up out of nowhere, so you gotta be flexible.
Yeah, totally.
Watch out, here comes another one. So with this, I created that a style guide was what I called it, because there is a thing called a branding guide, and sometimes on lesser occasions it was referred to as a style guide, but most of the world knew it as a branding guide, and it was like a step-by-step process of the things you should do and the things you shouldn't do. So I kind of repackaged it and thought, I want to make this my own, and I want to share this to the industry. And if it gets a good enough response and I put enough energy into it, maybe it's worthy or valuable enough, I could actually sell it. So I think I've arrived at that point, and I call it a style guide, roadmap to better branding. It's a 53-page thing. We'll talk about that later. But in terms of the nuts and bolts, what I wanted to make sure is that people knew that there is a recipe. There are some things you could do. You could follow a formula. And the other reason I did this, and I don't know about you, Aaron, but I tend to gravitate to projects that, because I'm so annoyed by something, it's like, I got to do something about that, right?
Yeah.
And so I kept meeting people at trade shows where I was in the booth and I was meeting attendees and people that have been in business, 3 years, 5 years, 15 years. And they would, great people, strong businesses. And they would share with me their business card. And I would just be like, oh, dude, like depression would set in. Like, come on, man, that's the best you got. Like, this is terrible. It's like if you were like best friends with someone, you would just tell them and be blunt. But because you're like, that you're not that close yet, so I had to keep my mouth shut and be nice, be polite.
Difficult. Yeah.
Do what my mom said, which was keep it light and polite.
Nice.
So I realized, our industry could really use a tune-up, a manual, a something, a recipe. And I started working on it about 5 years ago. I put together some marketing. I from time to time did some training on it. I didn't call it a style guide or a branding guide, but I was continually sharing the steps, if you will. Sometimes it would just be a couple of 3 or 4 things to do. I'd write an article for Impressions or somebody, and it just led to this. So, I don't know how deep you want to go into all the nuts and bolts, but I recognized quickly that if I could have this and give this out, some kind of a document, something that would explain, do this and then do it in this order. That was the other thing. That was one of my other pet peeves, was the logos. People, spent all their time on logo, and they really it wasn't that good usually, to be honest. And that was another pet peeve, because it's like, I get it. You're bootstrapping this thing. You don't have unlimited funds. You're the owner, you're the operator, you're the marketer, you're the accountant, you're the janitor, you're doing all these things, wearing all these hats. And you know what? If you're not a professional graphic designer with like 5 or more years experience with logo design, you probably shouldn't design your own logo. And really hard to tell people in our industry.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. Yep.
You've seen a few. You can corroborate.
I
what
probably
I'm saying.
have a few, but hey. Yeah.
Well, I'm not picking on you. I'm not picking on anybody, to be honest. It just was room for improvement, right? It was like, if I could do something, if I could give out this critical recipe, then this was kind of my moment. When you could combine all of these ingredients in the right way and in the right order, guess what? You got a powerful brand. You got something that would be aligned, like everything would be aligned on every platform and every touch point, which was kind of a big thing for me. And it would be consistently memorable. People would recognize you for greatness, not a crummy logo, because they do recognize and they are judging whether you like it or not. So that's kind of where I was. That's what brought me to the style guide. And I kept kind of working through this in my mind. Okay, if I needed a consultant, I could go a lot of places to find a lot of people. If I needed a business coach, they'd come in and say, okay, show me your business plan. And, most people don't have them because they didn't spend the time. They just bought the products. They have this printer, and now they're like, okay, now what do I do? Well, I got to make it go. I got to make it print, or I got to make this embroidery machine hum, or I need to get these transfers out. So I felt like this was a chance for everybody to take a step back and work on their business rather than hyperventilate over whether or not these shirts got out on time or whether or not these mouse pads were done right. Those are things they always focus on.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of where I got to. And then, you've seen it, you have it. It's a branding guide. It's literally a 53-page PDF that you can just kind of go through with worksheets. And so,
it's awesome. I mean, like you said, and that's what I've really enjoyed about it is that it does have the step-by-step. I mean, it's not like you have to learn anything or figure anything out. It's follow the steps, follow the formula, go through the worksheets that are in there. And I know people will want to get the book to get that stuff, because that stuff's really important and really, like I said, makes it super easy. But maybe, Jay, you could just give us maybe a few of the steps.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'd love to.
Give us a little bit about that. Or what? Yeah, I mean, how
much time?
As long as you are.
No, for sure. I think it's important to cover those because, for anyone, this is information you probably somewhere have seen parts or pieces. You have an intuition and you have feelings where okay, I need to do this piece better. I could do this part better. But I think that's a key thing, is that if you were critically being paid to just be the marketing agent, the marketing, VP of marketing at your business, like imagine looking through that lens and you'd be like, okay, here are all the things we could consider. Now let's prioritize them. And now let's get them, let's start checking them off. And so that's how I looked at it from the beginning. So helping to create this guide was really just to have something that would be literally a physical kind of document that you would work off of. If you think of it that way, like if I'm gonna expand my business and grow my business and I hired someone, I'd want there to be some documentation or some information that I could share with them about my brand, about here's how we do things, here's how we say things, here's why we created it this way. So those 9 steps are things that are important to everybody. And the hardest one really is the first one. So, and here's why it's so hard, Aaron, is it's because most people, they've already passed over it. They've already got a business. They've already created their logo. They're already doing work, and and so they don't want to go backwards. Right. But here's the thing that's really critical is the first step is knowing your why. And some people would call that your story. But by having that piece done first, what it does is it helps create momentum for all of the other steps. And so by having your why, you could think of it as my message or my values. Some people even have turned this kind of into a manifesto, like we're known for these things, right? This is what we stand for. So when you think of a manifesto, it's kind of a macho word. I like manifesto. But if you could put your story into 2 paragraphs, like, how did I get here? What was my journey? What was the starting point? And for most people that are in our space, smaller businesses, it's going to be a blend of you and your business. And I think that's interesting. And I think it's an advantage because it creates more relationship. It creates more trust. When you can say, I know the owner, I know Aaron, I've known him for a long time. He's a great guy. He's committed to quality. He's a small business owner. That doesn't mean he's small. It just means, it's not like I'm dealing with IBM or Apple, somebody. So what do you love most about your business? That's really the essence of your story. What do you love most about this process? What is the single most important idea that you can't wait to share with people? And that's where I get that step one is some people share values. Some people want it to be more story branded, like a story, like literally,
Sure.
So, and there's no right or wrong. And that's why in the style guide, I'll probably have 20 questions to prompt you through this process.
Yeah.
So that's step one. So one of the 9. If we go, I don't want to go too deep on any of these because I kind of want to get through them all, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's perfect. No, I'd love to just get through them all. And then
okay, so step one, your story, start there. If you could get your message out, if you could really kind of narrow that down, include your values if you want to, build a physical graphical manifesto. A lot of people do that. That's a great way to kind of share it. But we're creative people, so there's lots of answers here. There's more than one right answer. That's the nature of being creative. Step 2 is, again, and notice I have not yet talked about logos. So as you know, it's kind of a little bit of an issue for me. Pet peeve, if you will. I get irritated, cranky, irate. Do you want me to stop? Okay.
I think we got it covered. Yes.
Step 2 is your style. That's where the style guide came from. Is I wanted to get to know people's personality, and it might seem weird to you, but businesses carry that personality too. So it's almost like the mood of the business. It's almost like, is it more playful or is it more serious and sober? And so if you can identify through some keywords like, what's another good example besides playful and serious? Like, I keep thinking old school, but that's not the right way to put it. Classic versus contemporary, something like that. Or, looking through this, it would be the overall character of your company. Is it exciting, and does it show? So that's what we're after. We're after that fun. We're after that, bubbly personality. If you don't have one, your business needs one. So you have to be able to kind of push through the details and make sure that we have a feel, because branding is about feelings. And if you come across as stuffy and boring, I'm sorry, but then you need to have somebody else become the face of that, maybe, so that you can establish that personality and that style, that consistency, so that everybody kind of gets a feeling. Does that make sense? That's kind of step 2.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Yep.
Okay, so then, the personality side of it. So then step 3 goes where we can then go, okay, now that we have those 2 pieces, we have the ability now to jump into the logo. So rather than do that in the first step, which is the mistake most entrepreneurs and most small businesses make, we want you to not make that mistake. If you did, that's okay. We're not gonna fail you. You can't flunk my class.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I know, right? But what I do want to encourage you to do is to then say, how do these 3 things link together? How does my story affect my personality, which then helps me build an icon or a symbol, my logo, in a way that's aligned, so that my logo makes a bigger impact when it's aligned with my story and my values. That's not easy. I get that. That's why a professional graphic designer can be so helpful. If you have a little bit of your story, and if you can relate some key characteristics or traits of your personality, then a great graphic designer can bring those to life visually. So it's more than just the font that you use. It goes deeper beyond that. So sometimes that logo, believe it or not, I know how important they are. They can be a deciding factor as to whether someone chooses you or skips you, because logos are so visual. But anyway, I don't want to, jump all over you if you didn't use a professional graphic designer, but I would encourage you to rethink that process. And throughout this whole thing, if you pivot from what you started with, that's okay. Yeah. That's not the end of the world. In fact, it could be a huge upside to your business in the ability to retell your story and get out in front of your customers again. It almost gives you a built-in excuse to say, hey, guess what? Hear our story, listen to our values, and check out our new logo. Yeah. So that's really step 3 is the logo. And then it's your symbol. It's your first impression. Yeah. For a lot of applications. can I break that down quickly? 3, just to be the teacher. I can't help myself. There are 3 core logos. An abstract symbol. Think of the Apple computer logo. I know it's an Apple, but what really does Apple have to do with a computer or computing company? Almost nothing. So it's an abstract symbol. That's like an Apple computer logo. A logo type, which is like a stylized rendition of your company's name. Think of the Home Depot logo. That would be a great example of a logo type.
Okay.
And then the combination of the two. So if you have a combo, you're going to have something like the Mercedes-Benz logo, where you have a symbol, but you also have the text, and that text happens to be stylized rendition. So that's kind of the 3. That's oversimplified, but it'll help people when they're first starting to think, which version or which kind do I want in terms of my logo? And then from there, you know, just think through it. Fonts, the size, orientation, balance, color. Please do yourself a favor and start with a 2-color logo before you dive into the deep end of the pool. 1 or 2 colors would be beautiful. And you know, 99 times out of 100, that's all we're going to ever need, you know? So keep it simple. Your audience will appreciate it, and your wallet will appreciate it, because it'll be so much easier for you to replicate. And a lot of times when you're creating a logo, you don't think of all of those imprinting processes or decorating techniques. So that'll help. Okay, that was step 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So we've got our style, you know, our story. We've got our personalities, you know, we've got that mood, and then we've got our logo. So step 4 is really pushing beyond that. And it's a piece of the logo, but I classified it as its own, which is really, it's like the supporting role. So step 4 is really kind of in terms of a theme. And I like to look at this from the perspective of all digital advertising, right? Your website, everything should have kind of a theme to it. By kind of, I mean, it really should have a theme.
Kind of, or actually have a theme. Okay.
Yeah. but I know for a lot of folks, they don't understand how that works. And so, like, to oversimplify it, for me, my theme might be tacos. And every time and at every touch point, if there's like a taco there, then it helps that continuity and it helps everything tie together. Yours could be part icon. So think in terms of the iconography, a great icon, like a great symbol, like a lightning bolt, or, you know, that's overused. But another cliche might be the old standby, like a light bulb, you know, like good ideas, right? But in your case, don't use the light bulb, don't use, you know, the taco, but come up with something that's going to be that consistent carrier, so that the message is the feelings flow through that, I guess. So I love themes, and it's easy when you think about websites as themes. Like, is it rustic or is it modern? You know, is it kind of out in the country or is it in the city? That's what I mean by theme, is that it sets that stage that my logo might play on. So that's really step 4, is the theme and the icon.
Okay.
Does it support everything else? Let's think about that. Okay, and then step 5, when I'm scrolling through, just to keep myself on task here, is if everything else to this point has been mostly written, or visual, right? Step 5 is where we might go into our voice, and by that I mean literally and physically. So your voice is, in terms of the tone and your language, how you respond to emails, how you respond to your voicemails, all of those things. Okay. So the style guide is going to help you, because it's going to say, okay, to illustrate these important points, this is how we do it. Right. So, and I know sometimes it feels weird if you're a one-man show, you're like, well, you know, I say what I want to say, Jay.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. I get it. But, you know, maybe think through it, like, is this PG or is it rated R? What's appropriate there, right? Yeah. Or think in terms of, you know, specifics like grammar. Like, you know, people are judging whether you like it or not. And I know some people don't like that. But how can we make sure this is consistent? And then I like to think of it as, if you're hiring new employees, you want them to speak for your brand. So if that's not spelled out both verbally and in written communication, they're just going to guess. And what if they make a major mistake? The ultimate responsibility is right here. So Step 5 is really about your voice, your tone, and your language.
Yeah. Well, I like that too, Jay, when you talk, even if you are your own, it's just you yourself, you are, though, taking the time to step back from the hysteria of getting the order out and whatever, to say, okay, this is my voice. And once you've done that, you've made that commitment to it. It's going to help when you are, back against the wall and having to respond to something and you go, oh, but you know what? My brand is this. So maybe I need to rethink how I'm responding. So
that's a really important point. And Aaron, I wish we were as practical as that. I 100% agree with what you said. A lot of times in today's world, we tend to think, whatever, kind of blow it off. But I'm with you. I agree. What you said is really valuable and really important because we do need to know those core values, those original purposes for why we built our business. And I'm not saying you need to act like some caricature, some, joker. You still need to be you. But that tone and that expression, and it's just how is my audience receiving me? Maybe look at it that way.
And what you is, does, the situation could change who you are a little bit, but if you can remind yourself, hey, I've gone through this style guide and this is my brand, and I know that that's off brand for me, I need to rethink that.
Well, I got into a great conversation about this specifically with somebody recently, and they reminded me that you might think of it this way, like in the roles that you play as a business owner, maybe part of that voice is that you're an educator. And if you think of it that way, then you can think, okay, well, what do educators, do they hype? Are they constantly selling? No, they're not. They're training. They're in mentor mode. They're giving and teaching. And so that might be a good way to look at that.
That's great.
And also, I got to tell you, prospects and customers love that. They just do. They don't want to be dealing with someone who's just always hyper selling. So play that role. Your personality will shine through. You're no longer this faceless company. And you have an advantage as a small business owner when you do this, because most bigger businesses don't take the time. And so, be that person that would take the time, and you'll see a big difference as you play that role.
I like it. Okay. Well, what's number 6, Jay?
Okay. So 6 is going to be, and it's so important. All of these steps are important, but this one I think has extra meaning to it in the apparel decoration world and in the promotional product world and the signage world, where a lot of us are working, right? So step 6 is kind of your delivery. So think of it as, I've done all of this work. I've stayed up all night to get these shirts done. Right? Or these mugs or these mouse passes or this sign or whatever the thing is. I spent all this time doing this. Now I'm about to deliver this. What is that impact going to look like? If you could remove yourself from that and you saw somebody delivering what you just finished, you've just poured hundreds of hours into, it's often overlooked that touch point, the delivery, how it actually shows up, whether that's in person, whether that's in a box, whether that's them coming to your home or office to pick it up. That's what I mean by that. That's that final touch. And there's so many great things. There's so many opportunities. And we often don't think about this. Like if we're blind shipping this, is it just in the same brown box that you got, that the supplier or whoever, wherever those blanks came from, is it in their box? You're just stuffing it back in the box and passing it through. Look for opportunities to get your brand out. Look for opportunity. That's the carrier. That could literally be, instead of a blank brown box, it could be something that's decorated and has your messages, your themes, your logo. So that's an easy one for us, because we deal in the world of a Gildan box or a Fruit of the Loom box, or call out to any favorite Sanmar, Allmade, whoever, right? I'm just saying, looking for a way for you to take that into consideration, from everything from branded tape, right? Branded boxes, branded tissue paper, branded hang tags, how it gets delivered. Are you doing anything extra and special within that box? Maybe there's some Easter eggs in there, some surprises. So that's what I mean. That's what step 6 is. It's thinking through the shipping of the finished products and what are all those delivery touch points look like.
Yeah. Wonderful. That's great. Okay. So we got 7, 8, 9 left, right?
7, 8, 9. We're going into third, maybe into rounding it to go to home. So step 7, we'll go a little quicker, only because it's broader. If you just look at every other single touch point, every place where your logo lives, now look at that through the refreshed perspective of the previous 6 points. So all of the touch points where your logo lives is my branding on point and aligned. So any banner, any sign out in front of your place of business, any header on any social media platform, social media icons, photos, are these things all put together? Your marketing flyers, your business cards, your email signature, everything, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. So all of those touch points is step number 7, and just get them all lined up. Get everything so that the story's right, personality's right, logo's right, the icons are right, the theming is right. That's just all about the branding.
Awesome. Okay.
Step 8. Once you get all of that done, you've really done the lion's share of the work. Now what we want to know is, okay, if you are a systematized type person, if you like systems, if you like procedures and templates and recipes, here's what I'm going to ask you, Aaron. Are you making it easier or harder for your raving fans to share that message? Are you making it easy for them to share the message that you kicked ass? Or are you making it kind of hard and there's friction and they don't know what to say or where to say it? So step 8 is about your system to help them tell your story. That's what it is. So if you've gone through all of the work to figure out your story, now you need to make it easy for your fans to tell that story. And I learned this lesson when I realized this in a really important book I read called The Brand Gap. The Brand Gap. It's written by Marty Neumeier, and he said this. I wish I were this smart. Your brand isn't what you say it is, it's what they say it is. So we need they, our raving fans, to have a simple system to be able to share. Here's why Aaron rocks. Here's why Jay rocks. This is what they do best. So figure that out and make sure that it's natural and authentic. So when they're saying things, it doesn't look like a script. But that's that super important touch point. If you've done all this work, now you need to make it simple for your fans to say something and share it. Nice. Step 9, that's our closer. Step 9 is literally just set yourself an appointment to review the previous 8 steps quarterly. I would suggest monthly, but at least quarterly. Consistently look for common mistakes. Consistently go through this and say, listen, and I don't want to stress this out again, but most entrepreneurs and most small business owners skip steps 1 and 2. Why? Because it requires a lot of mental power, and they want to go to step 3 and start on their logo. So don't do that. Go through the order and then get to step 9 and set yourself an appointment. Follow through. Keep it simple. Avoid the complex. Avoid contradictions. Try to make sure that the less friction you have, the better. And so that's really it. That's step 9, is to set yourself the appointment and go through it all again and see if there's ways to make it better.
Nice. I love it. All right. Well, let's, we do have some users and watchers checking us out here. And so let's see.
If it's my mom, tell her I'll be back at 5 with talking.
Okay. All right. Mom, Jay's going to be home later. He's going to be a little late. Okay. All right. So we got everybody checking in. We appreciate everybody checking in. Jerry, connoisseur of tacos. I like it.
Jerry.
Terry says, pretty cool. The 2 regular guys background matches Jay's hat. Yeah, so we did not actually plan that ahead of time, but Jay's always the man.
I'm always looking for a small way to connect, right?
There you go. All right. Tina says, I need to get a copy of this book. Branding is what I want to work on next, especially now that we are growing.
Congratulations, Tina, on growing. That's really important. Now's a great time. You know what? Any time is a good time, to be honest. But good for you. You want to focus on it.
Yep, for sure. And then she follows that up with, I would love Jay to critique my logo and help. Now is the perfect time with being so new. So,
okay, here's a special offer for you, Tina. Through Aaron, if you'll send your logo to Aaron, I will absolutely take a look at it and give you some ideas for free. That's just me being a good guy. I'm not going to offer that to anybody else, but because Tina, you turned in today, this is called karma points. You get some good stuff back. So thank you for tuning in, and I'm happy to share it.
Good. All right. Luke says, Jay is the best. Awesome guest.
Woo,
I tend to agree. So yes,
awesome.
Nice job.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Jerry asks, what may be the most important thing on a business card? Can they be too busy?
Amen, Jerry. Yes, they are often and almost always too busy. I would encourage you to work backwards from, honestly, a calling card used to just have a name a long, long time ago. When you gave someone your calling card, it just had your name on it. Okay, fast forward to today. Obviously, we have some info we want to share. Name and number, got to be on there. Email, probably, but you got to simplify. Less is more. I know that's a cliche, but you know what's a cliche? Because it's true. So it consistently gets repeated.
Yeah.
And if you could just have just your logo, by the way, there are two sides to a business card. Be creative, maybe figure out a way to have your logo, and that's it on one side. And then only the most important information like your name and your phone number. I dare you, I would double dog dare you to see how that changed your world. Because you know what? If someone actually said, oh, your email address isn't on there, you'd be like, oh, here, write it down. Now you have a discussion point. Now you have something to talk about. And at least they looked. So I'm not going to not have my email on my card, to be honest. But my point is that less is more, too busy. If you start to put bullet points, Aaron, cups, mugs, lanyards, T-shirts, hats, magnets, trophies, less is more.
Less is more. Okay, good. Your point is well taken. So, and then Jan says, hey, guys. So,
one of my favorites. Oh, my gosh. I miss you, Jan. I hope you're well.
Yep. Yes. Simple cards. People don't want to read a book. They just want. And I love your point about, having them write something down, because I'll be honest with you. I'll just pull out the handful that I can pull out. Right. Here's business cards that I've collected over the years.
Look at that.
And most of them, are basically just got tossed in here. I have no idea even why I keep them. But the ones that I've actually taken the time to write on, those are the ones that some action is going to be taken, regardless if it's writing down an email or something like that.
100%. It somehow connects you to that card, and you remember, oh, I wrote something on there.
Yeah.
There's a message on there. He gave me a cell phone number, or, yeah, I was just going to say that, Jan, leaving a little space on the card. A lot of people, by the way, get those really glossy cards.
Yeah.
You can't write on those on the back unless you have like a Sharpie. Most of us don't carry Sharpies around. So,
even then, yeah. I mean, if you really have to have a glossy, just do one side and leave the other side.
Leave the other side so people can write on your card.
Right.
Business cards aren't going away. As awesome as LinkedIn is, and yes, you can share QR barcodes back and forth to people. You can just kind of bump your phones, and then it's kind of weird. I don't know if touching phones is a thing, but maybe in the pandemic world that we live in, they will be. The truth is, business cards are still they're tangible. They are actually a promotional product if you think about it. It's information. It's tactile. It's something I can leave with somebody. And apparently, Aaron collects them, so he's got
That's right. Someday there's going to be a card in there that I know
I need someday. It's like just in case.
I've got to work on that. I can't bring myself to throw that stuff away, but hey, it's there.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, Jay. Well, let's go ahead and close this up here, because I want people to kind of really be able to take all this in and digest it and stuff like that. First off, I want to make sure that I put a link up there for people to go to. It's actually just your name. So it's jbusselle.com.
Really hard to remember. It's a great website.
Yep. So I just put it in the comments there. So if you guys want to head over to check that out, you can actually sign up to be part of the community. There's a little bit more of an overview in there, so you can do all that.
Yeah, you can download the free overview. I hold it hostage if you'll share your email with me. And I do email the tribe, a couple times a month just to check in. From time to time, I'll see something and I'll share it out that has value to me. It's just a way for us to really capture your email. I don't spam people. Once you get that overview, it'll be a repeat of these 9 steps. So I think that's what everyone here today should do, unless you want to buy it.
Yep. And then if you want to buy it, you can buy it right there as well. Go through some more information. In fact, Jay has a little bit more about himself. He is the Chief Taco Officer. So he has moved up to that status. It's pretty
important. Once you arrive at the C-suite, man, those tacos are just that much sweeter.
I love it. All right. Anything else, Jay, about the style guide that you want to share? I mean, it is a fantastic document that not only is it just great information, But
You know,
I
Aaron, I'm
love
just
the
thinking,
worksheet.
yeah, no, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just kind of
That's
off
okay.
the top of my head. I'm just thinking special call to action. I don't know if we talked about that. If we didn't, I think we should do something special for just the people that tuned in, some special hashtag or some special code word that we could come up with. I'm a big fan of tacos make everything better. So, I don't know if we want to work out something, but I think we should,
Yep.
there's one or two people here. Here's what's going to happen. Let's just be honest. This is me cutting through the BS. You're going to see this and you're going to go, I want it. And then you're going to see the price. You're going to go, I don't want to pay that. Okay. That's just the truth. Many have, by the way. And I thank you for all of those who have. Aaron,
Yep.
but let's do something different. Let's do something special. Let's give $100 off for
Okay.
listeners that tuned in today. Not today only, but somebody that would at least between now and the end of the month. You got 10 days, 10-day offer, and we can save $100. And let's use the hashtag or what do you think, Aaron? You're the man behind the scenes there. You know what works best.
Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah. Tacos for gay.
Let's do Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Even though
Taco
it's Monday, we're going to do Taco Tuesday. Keyword Taco Tuesday. Uppercase, lowercase, I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, let's give $100 off. That's my way of saying that'll buy you some tacos. It'll get you started. Hopefully it'll take away your excuse, because I don't want that to be the excuse to great branding. And I think everybody here is probably strapped right now. I get it. I know I have been. It isn't easy right now. So I can't give it away, but I could at least help. I hope that's,
Yeah.
I hope people will.
I just had to throw that out there real quick, Jay.
You got me with that one. Can I pay in tacos? That's a lot of tacos. Let me say that I'm considering the offer.
Okay, all right. Nice. That's a fantastic offer. So if you'll give me about 5 minutes to get this wrapped up, we'll have that. You just put that in there as a coupon code, and that'll get you $100 off. That's a heck of a deal, Jay. Thank you so much for doing that.
Hey, you guys have the best audience. I'm two regular guys. I'm a big long-term fan. I work with Terry. I've worked with you and known you forever. I mean, like literally 15 years at least.
Yeah,
by now.
at least, yeah.
I love what you guys do. You guys are givers. You give first. You give great training. All of your guests. So, I mean, anytime I can be on and help in some way, I hope somebody heard something today that's going to make a difference. I know this was like 45 minutes now, but I think that offer is going to help somebody. If somebody pulls the trigger now because it's $100 left, then I'll feel good about it too.
Good. That's fantastic. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you for one more nugget here, because
one more as we close.
You have to suck all the information out of you, Jay. That's how we do it here at Two Guys. What's the number one thing somebody could do today that's going to help their brand?
Number one thing you can do today. I am so committed to this concept. I want you to ditch the pitch. I want you to not sell and build value first. So in your mind, the number one thing you can do that's going to increase your branding and your sales is to stop being hyper-focused on selling and start being hyper-focused on giving. Give, and then give again. So in all of your marketing, try the 3-1-1 rule. So if you have 5 days of the week you're working, and you're probably working 6. So if you want to go 3-1-1 or 4-1-1 or 5-1-1 or 7-1-1, the first 3 are give. Give training, give value, give examples, give the love. Do that first. That's the first 3. Okay. Then the next 1 is where you want to be able to say how. Here's how I do it. Here's how I give value. Here's how I can help you solve those problems. Here's how I can eliminate the friction and the challenges. Nice. So tell how. You're not selling anything. And then finally, you've earned the right to put the spotlight on you a little bit that says, I do business with people like this. So it's a really soft on-ramp to selling. So if you know that your primary audience is healthcare or auto manufacturers, auto dealers, all things automotive, or banking, all things banking, financial, life insurance, mortgage, whatever, or if it's just Main Street, small business owners, then that needs to be part of what you say. That should have been in your branding all along. I help small business owners become successful through killer branded merchandise. Yep. So figure out a way to put that spotlight on you. That's that give. Then you've earned the right. And I'm just a big fan of that approach. That's what I would do in all of my branding, all of my messaging, and all of my marketing.
Wonderful.
You know why, Aaron? Do you know why?
No, tell me why.
Relationships and trust.
There you go. It's really the way that the world functions nowadays. So, you know, if you're going about it the opposite way, where you're just blurting it out there, then yeah, nobody's gonna care.
Nobody cares. In fact, it's repellent. You know how you treat your spam. That's how people are treating your messages. They see it and feel it like spam. So stop, break it down. Everything that you're sending out, ask yourself, am I teaching something in this? Am I giving value here? Is there a benefit to this? Or am I just asking for a sale? If you're just asking for a sale, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I'm sorry. And I know a lot of small business owners are just going to go, but I got to sell. You will sell as a natural outcome and byproduct of amazing branding and value and marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's spot on, Jay. Very, very awesome.
That's it, man. That's all I got. 50-minute mark.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all the information. And again, if folks want to check out that book, just go to jbusselle.com and check that out immediately. And Taco Tuesday is going to get you $100 off. That's a great deal. Thanks, Jay.
My pleasure. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.